Sorry. I was chopping up that clip to post on Facebook with Tracy. Great call, Tracy. Great call. I love doing this, and I love this audience. I love you, Tracy. Thank you for listening to the show. It's people like you that really make this show a great show that's growing every day. Thank you, Tracy, and you have a wonderful weekend. And I hope to meet you one day in person. I really do. We could give you a big hug and take a selfie and everything. God bless you. Many of you may know this story if you're just tuning into the show and picking up the show late, because we are picking up a lot of new listeners every single day. When I was probably 15. I think it was the summer when I turned 15. I went to West Virginia to stay with my brother, Bobby, who was working he's a chemical engineer, and he was working at a major chemical plant in West Virginia. And my brother Bobby lives in Jamaica. My family's from Jamaica, as you should know. And so I went to stay with him for the summer. And right before I left home, I had met a young lady, and, we did the do, and it was my first time in my life, right? Lost my virginity. And then I went to West Virginia to stay with my brother for the summer. I got a job at Taco Bell in West Virginia. So one day I'm on the way home on a bus, and I met this young lady on a bus, and we switched numbers, and I called her up, went to her house. One thing led to another, and I had, summer loving, had me a blast, one of those summers. You meet a girl, you know what I mean? You meet a girl. And so I went back home. This is no cell phones, no nothing. This is old-fashioned, on the phone late at night talking. So I get back home to New York. And went back to high school. I think I was a junior at this point in high school. Junior. I think I was a junior in high school. Started my junior year in high school, and I went back to high school. And I'm now in high school. I'm back in New York, and I'm, living life. It was summer loving, right? Had me a blast. And I got a letter. My mom got a letter came to the house, Mr. Shelley Winter, right? And so I opened up a letter, and it's a long letter from the young lady. Oh, I miss you. We had such a great time, yada, yada, all of that stuff. And then she says, my mom and I got pregnant, and my mom and I took care of it. We had an abortion, and don't you worry, we took care of everything. And so me, I'm a teenager in high school. I was like, yeah, all right. My mom was furious. My mom was like, how can this mother do this without contacting me and finding out what we wanted to do, or what you wanted to do? And I know you're happy, but you shouldn't be, because someone made a decision that involved you without your knowledge. So I was like, oh, yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but it was the right decision. Well, right. Skip ahead a couple years later, I'm in college. I had a girlfriend again, and she got pregnant, and we rented a car, drove down to New York City. My stepdad at the time, unbeknownst to my mom, lent me the money, and we went and had an abortion. And so my feelings on abortion are kind of, back and forth, because there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about those future babies that I could have had. And not a day, I'm not saying every day, but, over time, it pops up in my head every now and then. I wonder where that kid would be right now. Maybe president of the United States, maybe working for the Trump White House, or maybe, or could be in jail, I don't know. But you think about it, right? It's something that hangs in your mind forever. And so when people talk about being pro-life, and people talk about being anti-abortion or pro-abortion, whatever it is, I kind of step back and I have a personal opinion about it. It's something that shouldn't be so easy to do. It's been always my position. Also had a cousin named Duval. Duval had Down syndrome. The doctors, when I was growing up, I was probably 8, 9 years old, growing up in our family. Duval was older than we were. He had Down syndrome. And when he was Duval, the story goes in the family history that when Duval was born, the doctors told Duval's mother, my Aunt Hilda, that Duval may live to 6 or 7 years old, and that was it. But my Aunt Hilda poured love and treated Duval like he was just any other kid. Duval ended up babysitting for my mom's generation, babysitting for my generation, and babysitting for the generation after me. Duval outlived his mom and dad and ended up living in the same apartment his mom and dad lived in until he passed away. He probably lived until he was in his 70s with Down syndrome. But that's because my Aunt Hilda did not listen to the doctors. She raised Duval as a normal child. I bring this all up to personal stuff, family stuff, to talk about this Ridgeways, the Ridgeways. Jesse Ridgway, better known as McJugger Nuggets, he announced on X that he and his wife, Ashley, terminated a pregnancy after receiving a prenatal diagnosis of Down syndrome. And so they went on this the internet and whatever, and they talked about they did not want to bring a child into the world with Down syndrome, and because it was pre-diagnosed, a prenatal diagnosis, it was easy decision for them. And I've heard a bunch of conservatives and a bunch of pro-lifers going in on these people. And I understand their decision. I'm not going to get in between their decision. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. I'm not going to tell them. I can give them an example of Duval and my Aunt Hilda, right? I can give them the example of what's transpired in my life, throughout my life, when I've, having been involved in relationships where the women had abortions. But I wouldn't do that because that's their decision to make. And the reason why I wouldn't do it is because of this, my friends. It's easy to judge a couple who gets pregnant, and the doctors say with modern medicine and technology, and they say, hey, you know what? If you have this baby, it's going to have Down syndrome. It's going to have issues. It's going to have health issues that you're going to be dealing with for the rest of your life. It's going to cost you extra money, yada, 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 yada. But it's your decision. It's easy to say when those people say, hey, we made a decision to terminate the pregnancy. It's easy to jump up and down and yell and talk about them and call them ungodly and call them unchristian-like and call them murderers and all kinds of stuff. You know why it's easy to do that? Because you won't in any way be involved in the raising of that child. No, you wouldn't. You'll stand on the sidelines and you'll look. As a matter of fact, if that child has anything to do as he grows up and does something in high school and maybe wants to give a speech, your children may make fun of him. You may even bring back the use of the R word that's been banned for many years. You may bring back that use of the R word, but you will have nothing to do with the raising of that child. As a matter of fact, many of us who were on the side of the people that were attacking the Ridgeways want to cut health care. Many of us who are on the side of the people criticizing the Ridgeways want to cut special ed funding in schools. Many of us who are on the side of those criticizing the Ridgeways don't want to pour money into health care, don't want to fix the health care system. We'll continue to vote for people who told us in 2016, 2017 that repeal and replace, and they still haven't done it. So miss me with your name calling of the Ridgeways who made a decision for their personal family. Don't tell me you're about personal freedom. Don't tell me you're about freedom. Don't tell me you're about when a family makes a decision to terminate a pregnancy that they know that pregnancy, that child will have Down syndrome. And I'm not saying a child with Down syndrome is automatically going to be a drain on a family, because I watched my cousin Duval or my uncle Duval take care of 3 generations of children with Down syndrome. But this family made a decision for themselves. To yell and scream and castigate them in any way, shape, or form is selfish, self-righteous, and it doesn't at all in any way bring anybody to our side of the fence. It's the Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.